Hi, I'm Melissa Shaw Mizell. I'm the Learning Architect, and I work in Buttram area on the Sunshine Coast in the state of Queensland in Australia. As you can hear from my accent, I'm originally from Texas, but all the advocacy work that I've done is here in Australia. And when I say my country or our laws, I'm talking about Australian laws and my new country, Australia. Um, so I wanted to make this video to tell parents a little bit about what I do, in case you're interested, in case I can help you. I do three main things. I'm an advocate, an advocacy coach, and a tutor for diverse learners and their families. So what does an advocate do, you might be asking? As an advocate, and I specialize in education for diverse learners, I do kind of a lot of things. I attend school meetings with parents and I help them advance the interests of their child. I also help the parent to negotiate disability adjustments if their child has a disability or a learning disability or a developmental difference. I can help the parent negotiate their child's disability adjustments at school. I keep a written record of the meetings that I go to, and I provide a witness to what the parent has been told and what the parent's telling the school as well. I also keep action items for the parent and for the school, so the parent can provide the school with my notes and they both have a record. And I also write letters on behalf of parents if there's something that's concerning them, just to let the school know, or to let a sporting club know, or a camp or something, what the needs of their child might be. So those are some of the things I do as an education advocate. The other thing that I do is I work as an advocacy coach for parents of children with diverse learning needs. I myself have 3 kids with diverse learning needs, and I know firsthand how overwhelming it can be when you have a child with a lot of things going on at once. And it's really frustrating, I found as a parent, to try to sort out the puzzle while you're walking through the maze. So as an advocacy coach, I help the parent by clarifying maybe what the parent's goals are for the child, what the child's goals are for themselves, and also what to do, how to construct an action plan to get from where the parent and the child are now to where they're wanting to go, so that they have their direction broken into manageable steps. Some of the other things I do is I assist the parent with coaching for effective strategies to use with advocacy. I work from the point of view that teachers in schools do the best they can most of the time, and that the very best outcomes for kids with diverse learning needs are when parents and schools work hand in hand and support the child, the parent from home, and the child and the school during their school days, and also that would be the teacher as well. I also explain disability discrimination laws. I'm not a lawyer, I'm an architect, but I've had to do a lot of research just to know what rights does a child with disability actually have here in Australia. And knowing those rights gives parents it buoys them, and it makes them able to know that what they're asking for is reasonable, or maybe what they're asking for maybe isn't reasonable. So knowing the laws that support kids with disability is important. And knowing the policies of particular education providers, so maybe the state of Queensland or the Catholic education system, I do a lot of research into those policies so that the parent can know, what is the school's actual policy? What does the school say that they're going to do for a child that has X, Y, and Z? Some of the other things I do is I can help the parent construct a matrix, because the poor teacher, and really the poor parent, when you walk in with a whole stack of reports and you say, this is what my child has, the poor teacher goes, oh, but the report is 70 pages long and I can't understand it. So helping the parent simplify all of those reports, if the child has multiple needs, into a 1 or 2 page summary that tells what the disability looks like in the child, or what the strength looks like in the child if the child's gifted, what are the implications, and what are the disability adjustments or the differentiation strategies that the teacher can use to help the child, because teachers want to help kids. You don't become a teacher if you don't want to teach kids and don't want them to learn. So sometimes just providing the teacher with a manageable summary of what the child is and needs can be such a huge help for the parent and the teacher and the child. And I find that matrices with the child's needs are really effective. One of the other things that I do is I can provide research on the effective interventions that the child with dyslexia or dysgraphia or ADHD or ASD or any number of different disabilities, what would be effective intervention? So providing the parent with research to know what would actually help this child, what is something that's driven by research and evidence-based. Because there are a lot of things out there and some of them can cost a lot of money and maybe not help the child. Maybe the parent will be out of money at the end of it and the child won't be better off. But there are also a lot of really good interventions for everything from dyslexia to ASD. And finding those and sorting through those and using those instead of solutions that don't have evidence can be really effective. And the last thing that I do is I also do tutoring for diverse learners. And this is something I just absolutely love. It's really my privilege to work one-on-one with kids, especially kids that are discouraged, and figure out what is the child's difficulty and what is the child's strength, and how can we use the child's strength to compensate for their difficulty? How can we use technology to help this child learn? How can we use visual strategies if the child has some trouble with auditory strategies? Or how can we use auditory strategies if the child has trouble with visual strategies? So figuring out what works for this child is something I really enjoy. Now I guess a little bit about me, maybe there's some things that you would want to know. I am a permanent resident of Australia. I've lived here for about 5 years, and this year I'll also be a citizen. I am originally from Texas, and as you can tell, I'm not of European descent. All the opportunity that I had as a non-white American came from the civil rights movement, and I view any rights that are given in legislation and maybe not yet implemented as equivalent to the civil rights struggle and really important. In the States, there were rights granted to people that were not white 100 years before they were actually implemented. And those laws were actually implemented when people said in a peaceful way, these are important laws and they apply to us too and we want our equality. So I view disability rights through that lens. And then I guess when I work with families, I also view their experience through the lens of a mother. As I said, I'm the mother of 3 diverse learners, and I found it really overwhelming when we were trying to get the kids diagnosed, overwhelming financially and emotionally, and just about every other way, trying to get my head around all the things that were going on with them and the behaviors that it caused, and it's just a real struggle. And so I started the Learning Architect so that I could work with families and support them and provide some of the help that I needed along my journey. Now, I'm not a teacher, I'm an architect, so I have 6 years of university study in 3-dimensional problem solving. So I have a lot of training in shifting paradigms and thinking of creative solutions, and I find that really helpful in terms of working as an advocate, working with schools, and thinking of creative solutions so that the solution is workable for the school and for the parent and for the child. And I also find it really helpful in working with children for tutoring because there are a lot of different solutions to one problem. There's not always one right one. But if we look at things from a lot of different angles, maybe sometimes we can see a solution that we wouldn't see otherwise. So that's a little bit about who I am and what I do. I'm really excited to have my own YouTube channel, the Learning Architect channel. And I look forward to meeting you. So give me a ring, or you can find me on Facebook. All of my information is attached to my Learning Architect page on Facebook, or shoot me an email as well. My email is sunnycoastlearningarchitect@gmail.com. I look forward to meeting you soon. Thanks.